Welcome to the World Register. The World Register is an independent news source providing truthful, unbiased, and timely reporting about people, places, and events. As reported by Reuters news agency, the U.S. government will ban Americans from traveling to North Korea due to the serious risk of arrest after a U.S. student was jailed while on a tour and later died. U.S. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert said U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson authorized a geographical travel restriction on all Americans' use of a passport to the country. Ms. Nauert also said, quote, "Once in effect, U.S. passports will be invalid for travel to, through, and in North Korea, and individuals will be required to obtain a passport with a special validation in order to travel to or within North Korea." According to the report, Ms. Nauert added that the move was due to mounting concerns over the serious risk of arrest and long-term detention under North Korea's system of law enforcement, and said the State Department plans to publish a notice in the Federal Register next week, starting a 30-day clock before the restriction takes effect. In another report by Reuters news agency, 6 people were killed on Friday in the bloodiest spate of Israeli-Palestinian violence for years. 3 Israelis were stabbed to death in a Jewish settlement in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, hours after 3 Palestinians were killed in violence prompted by Israel's installation of metal detectors at entry points to the noble Sanctuary Temple Mount compound in Jerusalem's walled Old City. Palestinian President Abbas ordered the suspension of all official contact with Israel until it removed the metal detectors. The 3 Israelis stabbed to death and a 4th who was wounded were from the fenced-in West Bank settlement of Neve Tzuf. Israeli media said the 3 dead were all members of the same family, 2 men aged 60 and 40 and a woman of 40. The wounded woman, 68, was hospitalized with stab wounds to her back, Israeli media said. The Israeli army and media said the assailant slipped into the settlement under cover of darkness to carry out his attack. Israel radio identified him as a 19-year-old Palestinian from the West Bank village of Khobar near Ramallah. It said he was shot, but his condition was not initially known. Earlier in the day, the Palestinian Health Ministry said Mohammed Sharif, 17, and Mohammed Hassan Abu Ghanam, age unknown, died of gunshot wounds in 2 neighborhoods of East Jerusalem, somewhat away from the epicenter of tension in the walled Old City. It reported a 3rd Palestinian fatality, Mohammed Lafi, 18, later. It was not immediately clear who fired the shots. Unconfirmed media reports speculate that an Israeli settler was responsible for Sharaf's death. And RT reports that China would consider sending troops into the disputed region between Djibouti and Eritrea. Quang Weilin, head of the Chinese mission to the African Union, said China would consider intervening if border tensions between the 2 countries exploded. However, he hoped the dispute would be solved amicably. China is already one of the biggest contributors to United Nations peacekeeping forces around the world, with over 2,500 troops deployed in global missions. There is no UN presence in either Djibouti or Eritrea, but earlier in July, China deployed an unspecified number of troops to Djibouti to maintain its first overseas military base. The U.S. also maintains a naval expeditionary base in the country at Camp Lemonnier. Mr. Kwang told the AP that the new Chinese base will only have logistical purposes, not defense capabilities, and will focus on anti-piracy, peacekeeping, and humanitarian efforts throughout Africa and Western Asia. The People's Liberation Army Daily's front page editorial said the facility will increase China's abilities to maintain world peace. According to the report, China has many UN peacekeepers in Africa and is closely involved in anti-piracy patrols. Reuters reported that the base has sparked concern in India as it offers easy access to the Indian Ocean, but China has denied that it is attempting military expansionism.